Hello, my name's Elizabeth and welcome to Beautiful Plants. Ever since I put together my video where I filmed putting together my dream plant wall with the IKEA Vittsjö shelves and Barrina lights, everybody's been asking me the same question. How much did all of this cost? Well, today we are going to do a breakdown of how much the shelves cost me, the lighting cost me, the pots, the plants, and all those incidental extras that you might not think about you might need to put together a dream plant wall like this. So if that's something that interests you, then stick around and let's get started. So the first component of my dreamy plant wall was actually buying the Vittsjo wall unit. And I put a little bit of thought into it, mainly guided by how much space I had, what my needs are, and of course how much it was going to cost me. So I was fortunate enough to have a 3-meter stretch of space right in my kitchen area, so my plants are right in my eye line. And then when I looked at the actual wall units themselves on the IKEA website, it was cheaper for me to get a wall unit than it was to buy each unit separately. And of course, the beauty of this actual setup is you've got all these individual shelvings. So if I don't like it here, I can easily move it, I can break it up. If I move house, it can break up and be placed in all different spots in the house if I haven't got a stretch of wall. So it's really about working out what your needs are, what you want out of your wall unit, and of course the cost of it. One of the disadvantages is it is right at the end of my hallway that leads to the front of my house. And the front of my house is pretty cold, especially in winter. So we're getting a little bit of a cold draft coming onto the wall unit. We're doing everything we can to try and stop that. So far everything's been all right, but it's really about weighing up the advantages and the disadvantages of wherever you place your wall unit. So $397 for the big 3-unit setup. I'll put the link to everything that I have been talking about in the description box so that you can go and click on them and have a look at exactly what I'm talking about. And we will do a running tally of everything that I have spent on the plant wall. So to start our running total, we have $397, which is the cost of the IKEA Vittsjo plant wall setup that I purchased from IKEA. And as you can see by our running total, I am going to keep adding on everything I spent so that at the end, you'll be able to see exactly how much I spent on my dream plant wall. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is the Barrina lights. And I bought mine on Amazon. They cost me $89 each. You get 6 lights in each box. And I bought 3 boxes to get 18 lights to put on my plant wall. I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about lighting. That's a whole other video I think that I'll be doing for you. So what I did, I cheated and I actually looked online and worked out exactly what lights I needed to get to put on this particular wall unit. And I have to say, I am so happy with the lighting that I bought. One of the things that confused and confounded me was these little licorice things. And what they're for is, say you were creating a plant wall and you thought, oh no, I don't want to use those Vittsjo shelves, but I really want the Barrina lights and the shelving's longer. You can use these little licorice, they're like a little 3-prong point, and you can connect your lights together so that you can have one longer light strip to accommodate the whole shelf. I actually put 2 strips of light in, so one at the front and one at the back. The one I put at the back, I didn't put too far back because I don't like to have the lighting too far back, because I wanted the plants to grow forward into the front of the unit and certainly not towards the back. I am so happy. I can't tell you, the Barrina lights have been a really good investment. I've bought so many different sorts of lighting in my travels of looking after my plants, and I've realized that really to have them inside, unless you've got a house with really good lighting, and mine just doesn't. It's a Victorian house, Australian Victorian, with verandas, and it just doesn't have good lighting. So I need the lights. They're quite low cost to run, and I've been very happy with them. You get all kinds of bits in the box. You get, this is the cord that I haven't got any of the cords to show you that connect everything together, because of course you connect your 2 lights, then you connect down to the next lot of lights, and then the next 2 lights. There's instructions that explain everything to you how to do it, and you can watch my other video that I'll put a link to that down in the description box, and you can see how I linked all the lights together. And of course at the bottom you use one of these. I showed you the little 3 link. Oh, you've got all sorts of clips and cord clips and all sorts of things in the box. And I was very happy. And I'm one of these people, I like to keep a box, you can see, and I just put that on top of my shelves with all my bits in, so that if I need anything, it's right there. And if I want to put together another Vittsjo plant wall, I've got all my bits and pieces. So our running total for the Dream Plant Wall is $397 for the Vittsjo shelving unit. 3 lots of Barrina lights, 18 lights, $89 times 3, $267. So altogether, we so far have spent $667 on my Dream Plant Wall. So let's talk about pots. And I've been in the camp of practicality with pots, because I grow in semi-hydro, and the most important thing to me is to have that water level in my eye line so my plants don't dry out, which is a big no-no in semi-hydro. So I started with these ones, and of course I discovered the algae problem. I do still use them because you can see the water level, and the algae doesn't really hurt the plants unless it really overtakes. I've just bought these, and of course, as you can see, they've got a green base, which I'm hoping, if nothing else, will disguise how bad the algae looks, and hopefully I can see the waterline. I haven't tested these yet, but I will be, and I certainly will let you know what I think. There's no holes in the sides of these pots, and if I could change anything, I'd love a clear basket. So if I come across cheap clear baskets that I could put inside a pot like this, so I can see the roots and see the base, I certainly will be thinking about how I can make that happen. Although having said that, if I put a clear basket in there, or even in this one, and then you've got the light coming through, I'll probably end up with an algae infested mess. I've got these ones, which again, these are a viewing window pot. And these, I think, are my favourite, and unfortunately, you cannot get them in the larger size. I did manage to get some that I paid an arm and a leg for, but you can't get them anymore. So pot people out there, make pots with viewing windows, because it addresses the algae problem. The basket I like because it's got airflow through the side as well as the base and in the top, and I've found them fantastic, except for the fact, of course, once again, you can't see the roots. And I would love a pot like this with a viewing window where you can see the roots in a clear basket that sits in there like that and does all those wonderful things, and I haven't been able to find it. So if you know of a pot like that out there, please let me know in the comments. Because this is my ideal pot, because I do find, even though I have to clean out the cash pot, it's nothing. You don't get the algae problem, and the plants really do love these pots. I've also got Hoya, which I love, which are expensive, And these are the pots with the water level indicator, which I find is, I can't get a big pot this big with a viewing window. I have to have a water level indicator. It has a base, it goes down into the pot, and it's really a submerged system. So, and when we talk a bit more about semi-hydro, I'll talk to you about that. The one thing about the water level indicator is it can get stuck, but other than that, and I found I must say the Elho water level indicators have been really good. But this is another pot that I really enjoy. So overall, I've budgeted $10 a pot. I've probably spent, look, some of them are cheaper, some of them more expensive, but I've budgeted about $10 a pot. So I've worked out around about 10 pots on here, which I know seems like there's more, but there's actually a lot of cuttings on my shelves at the moment in glasses. And I hate to say it, a few pots that I've put on the shelves without quarantining them in soil, waiting to be put in to start the process of going into semi-hydro that's filling the shelves as well. So I'm a little bit behind, but I've budgeted about 10 pots at the moment. So $10 a pot, conservatively $200 spent on pots, and I'm probably deluding myself. It's probably a little bit more than that. So our running total for my dream plant wall is $397 for the wall unit, the Vittsjo wall unit, $267 for the lights, $200 conservatively for pots. So far, we've spent $864. If you've made it this far in the video, I do so appreciate you. If you could subscribe or even drop a like, that would be so helpful, as it tells the YouTube algorithm that my content's valuable and helps other people to find me. So we're up to the part where we are going to put plants on the plant wall. Now, I found this really challenging because I think it really brings into stark reality just how much the plants cost when you start to add up how much you've spent. But it's also really, I found it quite emotional because some of my more cheaper plants were the ones that I love the most. And not that I don't like the expensive ones, but it was just a really interesting exercise to add everything up. And of course, I think the joy of it is buying the plant slowly and enjoying the plant wall and slowly filling it, rather than going out and buying a whole lot of plants and having the plant wall instantly. So, you know, I'm thinking about my Hoya Australis, which was the first Hoya I ever bought. And that was $4.99 from Bunnings. It was in a tiny little seed pot. It was bone dry. It was one step away from not feeling very well. I brought it home, put it in semi-hydro, and it just took off. So then I raced back to Bunnings and said, oh, I wonder if there's any more. And there was another one sitting there that everybody had missed. I grabbed it and I got that one going and gave it to a girlfriend and got her started growing in semi-hydro. And it was just such an enjoyable thing. I just love saving sick plants. And look, I've been guilty of going on eBay, which is where you go in Australia to buy really exotic plants. And I've probably spent too much on a few things. Nothing I've ever not liked, I must say. So if I think about the plants that I bought to put on the wall, overall, I've probably spent around about $800, but I haven't felt it because it sort of happened incidentally. It hasn't happened all at once. So the joy has really been in the building of the plant wall, I think, rather than going out and buying all the plants all at once and having the plant wall instantly. So the running total for my dream plant wall is really starting to add up now. It $397 that I spent on the original wall unit, $267 on the Barrina lights, $200 on pots, $800 on plants, and we're looking at a grand total of $1,664, some of which I felt as soon as I started to set up the plant wall, because of course there's that initial expenditure, and some of which has grown over time as I bought pots and plants. So something we do need to talk about are all those little extras that happen when you put together your dream plant wall like this. So if you buy the IKEA Vittsjö unit or a different unit from IKEA, they're very good at making sure that you get absolutely everything that you need to put the wall unit together. The one thing I would suggest is get a decent screwdriver. Now this is one that I've had for years. The one I actually used on this wall unit, I can't find it, but I bought it from Bunnings. It was fantastic. And I will put a link to it down in the description box so that if you want to go and have a look at it and get one for yourself, you can. This one lives in my plant cart and I just have it there for if I need a screwdriver. The other thing is the Tapo power board. This is brilliant. Now it has an app that goes with it and it sets all your lights on the timer. So you don't have to think about, you don't have to come out, put the lights on in the morning, switch them off at night. Although I must say doing that makes me check my plants. But this is, AI told me, so it must be true. This is the safest power board on the market at the moment. In Australia at the moment, I can only get a 3 socket power board, but that's okay. It's been really good. I've actually been using it and I unplugged everything so I could show it to you. And I'll put, of course, a link to it in the comments. Extension leads. Even though you get a power connector with the lights, you're still going to need an extension lead, at least one. And cord clips. Now, I was fortunate. I was able to get black lights to go with my unit, so I didn't have to get anything to disguise the lighting. Because can you imagine on a black unit like this with white lights and white cords, I would have been getting cord wrapping, cord covers and all sorts of things. But the clips I bought on Amazon, and I will again put a link to those down in the description box. And they've been really good, but I did use 2 boxes. Like I used, goodness, at least 60 clips. And the last thing, of course, is keeping your plants healthy. So there's all those things, and I will do a whole video on my plant cart, which I have perfected and love, that I take with me everywhere, in the garden, inside, and it has everything that I need to look after my plants. It makes it easy because then I can just travel around the garden and do what I need to do. But I can't do a video without mentioning Foliage Focus. This would have to be the best fertilizer that I have ever used. It's a hydroponic fertilizer. The other brand I've used is Green Dream, and I started using Green Dream on my cactus, which is really the plants that I started growing, goodness, years ago, and adore them. And I found it made a huge difference. And then when I got into semi-hydro, I was introduced to this particular fertilizer. Now, we can get it here in Australia. Certain countries you can't get it. It's difficult to get. But if you can't get it, what I would recommend is have a look at the ingredients that's in the fertilizer and then shop around and find something similar. Please, please don't break the bank trying to get this fertilizer. I've done things like that before where I've said, I must have this particular product and I've spent an arm and a leg, and it's just not worth it. There will be something in your area that's really, really good. And there are certain fertilizers. I know there's one in England. I can't remember what it's called, and I tried to get it here and couldn't get it. But there will be something really good in your area. But if you can get Growth Technology Foliage Focus, do get it. And really the fertilizer's important because it's what makes the plants grow. But watering cans, what else do I use? Pipettes, all sorts of things that I've had to purchase to grow the plants to make the plant wall work. So all those little bits add up between power boards and extension cords and cord clips and all those bits and pieces. And I would say I've probably spent so far about $200 on all of those things. So how much has my dream plant wall cost me? Well, the IKEA Vittsjo plant shelves cost me $397. The Barrina lights cost me $267. The pots are conservatively estimated at $200. The plants, again, because they've evolved over time, are conservatively estimated at $800. And the extras are about $200. So all up, we're looking at $1,864 to build my beautiful dream plant wall. Thank you for watching the costing of my dream plant wall. If you found this video valuable, I would so appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and maybe even share this video with someone you think would get value from it as well. It helps YouTube to know that my videos have value and for other people to find me. All of the links to everything I've talked about will be down in the description box. And of course, if you have any questions, don't forget you can always drop me a comment. I read all the comments on all my videos and I always answer. So until my next video, take care and surround yourself with beautiful plants.